Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into one of the most alarming and fast-moving developments in recent years, Israel on nationwide emergency alert after a sudden and powerful attack from Iran. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has reportedly placed the country on full readiness, declaring that Israel is facing a direct threat like never before. What started as a tense standoff has now turned into a rapidly unfolding confrontation that could reshape the entire Middle East. This surprise attack by Iran has shocked not only Israel but also the global community. According to initial reports, multiple Iranian drones and missiles were launched toward Israeli targets during the night, catching defense systems by surprise. Although Israel's Iron Dome managed to intercept many of them, several missiles struck near major urban areas, sparking fires, causing casualties, and spreading panic across the nation. The Israeli government wasted no time in declaring a state of emergency, urging citizens to stay in shelters and avoid unnecessary travel. Netanyahu immediately convened his security cabinet in Tel Aviv, describing the attack as a declaration of war. He warned that Iran had crossed a red line and that Israel would respond with overwhelming force. His statement to the nation was short but powerful. He said Israel is not seeking war but will not tolerate aggression from any nation threatening its people's safety. The atmosphere across Israel has turned tense. Sirens have been blaring throughout the night, families huddled in safe rooms, and hospitals placed on high alert. Major airports have temporarily suspended operations, and the Israeli Defense Forces have mobilized thousands of reservists in preparation for a potential escalation. The Home Front Command issued instructions for citizens to keep emergency supplies ready, as fears grow that this could be the beginning of a prolonged confrontation. Iran, on the other hand, claims that the attack was a response to previous Israeli airstrikes on Iranian military assets in Syria and possibly inside Iranian territory itself. Iranian state media framed this as an act of retaliation, a warning to Israel that any future provocation will be met with greater force. This tit-for-tat pattern between the two rivals has existed for years, but the scale and boldness of this attack have taken the conflict to a new level. Observers around the world are expressing concern. The United States, Israel's closest ally, has publicly condemned the Iranian strikes, reaffirming its support for Israel's right to defend itself. The Pentagon has reportedly moved U.S. forces in the region to a heightened state of readiness. European governments are calling for restraint, while the United Nations has convened an emergency meeting to address the rapidly deteriorating situation. Netanyahu's leadership is now under immense pressure. The Israeli public is demanding both security and reassurance. Many are questioning how such a large-scale attack could happen despite Israel's advanced intelligence and defense networks. Netanyahu's message to his citizens was clear: this is a critical test for the nation, and unity is more important now than ever. He urged Israelis to stay strong, calm, and united in the face of aggression. As dawn breaks over Tel Aviv, Jerusalem, and Haifa, the damage is becoming visible. Emergency crews are working around the clock to clear debris and rescue the injured. Entire neighborhoods have been evacuated near impact zones. Footage circulating online shows fiery explosions lighting up the night sky, buildings shaking under the pressure of the blasts, and terrified citizens rushing for cover. These visuals have sent shockwaves through the international community. Military analysts say this attack could mark a significant turning point. For years, Iran and Israel have fought each other indirectly through proxies, in Syria, Lebanon, Iraq, and Gaza. But this time, the confrontation is direct, overt, and dangerously close to a full-scale war. The question now is how Israel will respond. Netanyahu has promised a massive retaliation, but he's also aware that a misstep could drag the entire region into chaos. Reports from inside Israel suggest that the Air Force has been placed on full alert. Fighter jets have been seen taking off from multiple bases, and military convoys are moving toward the northern and southern borders. The Israeli Navy has also increased its presence in the Mediterranean and Red Sea, anticipating possible threats from Iranian-backed groups. The sense of urgency is palpable, as every citizen understands this could escalate further within hours. Meanwhile, Iranian leaders are portraying the attack as a victory. In Tehran, government officials celebrated what they called a successful operation against Zionist aggression. Crowds reportedly gathered in public squares, chanting slogans of defiance. However, not everyone in Iran shares that enthusiasm. Many ordinary Iranians fear this retaliation will provoke a devastating counterattack from Israel that could lead to regional instability and even threaten Iran's own safety. International energy markets are already feeling the shock. Oil prices have surged overnight amid fears that this conflict could disrupt supply routes in the Persian Gulf. Analysts warn that if hostilities continue, the global economy might face another wave of inflation due to soaring energy costs. The stakes extend far beyond military confrontation. This conflict could have real consequences for every nation connected to the global market. Netanyahu's inner circle is said to be divided. Some advisors are urging restraint, warning that too harsh a retaliation could draw in Hezbollah, Hamas, and other Iranian allies, opening multiple fronts for Israel. Others argue that this is the time to strike decisively, cripple Iran's military capabilities, and send a message that no one can attack Israel without facing severe consequences. Netanyahu is known for his hardline stance, and history suggests he is unlikely to back down easily. Inside the Israeli military, morale remains high but tense. Soldiers are reportedly determined to defend the nation, but they know this could be one of the toughest challenges Israel has faced in decades. Many recall the missile barrages of past wars but acknowledge that this time, the scale and sophistication of Iranian weapons are far greater. Iran has developed advanced ballistic systems capable of reaching deep into Israeli territory, and that reality has changed the equation entirely. At the same time, Israel's allies in the region are bracing for impact. Jordan, Egypt, and Saudi Arabia have closed parts of their airspace, fearing potential spillover. Lebanon is on edge, watching Hezbollah's movements closely. The Gulf states are trying to balance between condemning aggression and avoiding direct involvement. The situation is fragile, and one wrong move could ignite multiple fronts simultaneously. The Israeli people are resilient, but fatigue is setting in. For years, they have lived under the constant shadow of threats from Iran and its proxies. Now, that fear has materialized in a tangible way. Parents are struggling to comfort their children as explosions echo in the distance. Communities are helping one another, offering food, shelter, and support. Despite the fear, a strong sense of unity is emerging. Israelis are rallying around their flag, determined not to let fear dictate their lives. On social media, misinformation and propaganda are spreading rapidly. Both sides are trying to control the narrative. Iranian state media claims to have achieved major victories, while Israeli outlets emphasize resilience and preparedness. The digital battlefield is as intense as the physical one, with each side trying to shape global opinion. This information war will play a crucial role in how the world perceives the conflict. Netanyahu's next steps will define this chapter of history. His political career has been marked by crises and wars, but this confrontation could be the most consequential. He faces the delicate balance between demonstrating strength and avoiding total war. Every decision he makes now will have far-reaching consequences not only for Israel and Iran but for the entire Middle East. Diplomatic efforts are underway behind the scenes. Reports suggest that US and European officials are urging both sides to de-escalate, warning that further strikes could trigger uncontrollable escalation. However, given the emotions and the damage already done, neither Israel nor Iran seems ready to back down. The next 48 hours could determine whether this becomes a short-lived exchange or a prolonged regional war. In Israel, the mood is somber but determined. Citizens are showing remarkable discipline, following emergency protocols, volunteering to help, and supporting security forces. Netanyahu praised their spirit, saying that the strength of the Israeli people is greater than any weapon pointed at us. He vowed that the attackers will pay a heavy price and that Israel will emerge stronger from this trial. As we speak, Israeli fighter jets are reportedly striking Iranian assets in Syria and possibly beyond. Explosions have been heard near Damascus and in southern Lebanon. This is no longer a limited exchange, it's a complex and dangerous escalation involving multiple battlefronts. Iran's allies, including Hezbollah and militias in Iraq, have already issued threats to join the fight if Israel continues. The entire region now stands at a crossroads. If the conflict widens, it could draw in the United States, Russia, and other major powers with interests in the Middle East. The potential for a global crisis is real. Leaders around the world are watching carefully, aware that this situation could spiral beyond control. In the end, the human cost is what matters most. Innocent civilians on both sides are bearing the brunt of this violence. Families displaced, homes destroyed, lives lost, these are the tragic realities of war. As the conflict intensifies, humanitarian organizations are urging both governments to prioritize civilian safety and allow aid to reach affected areas. This event is a stark reminder of how fragile peace truly is in this region. Years of hostility, mistrust, and failed diplomacy have brought Israel and Iran to this boiling point. And now, the world watches anxiously, hoping reason will prevail before the situation becomes irreversible. Netanyahu has promised that Israel will not rest until the threat is neutralized. But the question remains, at what cost? Will this show of strength bring security, or will it open a new era of endless retaliation? Iran, too, faces a crucial choice: to push further or to step back and avoid a confrontation that could devastate its own nation. As the hours pass, one thing is certain: history is unfolding before our eyes. The Middle East has entered a dangerous new phase, where decisions made today will echo for decades. For now, both nations stand on high alert, their people holding their breath, hoping for safety, and fearing what tomorrow might bring. Thank you for watching. Stay informed, stay aware, and keep praying for peace. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more updates as we continue to follow this breaking story.